Hey, welcome guys back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and right now we're about to watch another episode of Dorohedoro. Last episode was actually kind of random, all things considered. I mean, that's par for the course for this anime slash manga, it seems. But still, at the very end there, we seem to have some development. We are about to find out what is Ebisu's smoke, what it actually contains, and whether or not she's actually responsible, or at least her smoke is responsible for Kaiman's situation, right? That is, of course, unless the manga or the anime pulls a pulls a fast one on us, and we were left with a cliffhanger for no payoff, right? So, is that the case or not? Let's get into the episode and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh. Actually, I think even more important than her smoke. Hold on. Well, yeah. But more importantly, has Ebisu regained her memories? Uh-huh. No, not you. One who got in my way? Huh, a little bit different. Ooh. Change her outfit a little bit. Yeesh. He wants to go to the magic world himself? Yeah, that's not gonna go well. Why is this? Don't question it. I don't know how I should feel about, like, a giant cockroach just, casually having tea and whatnot. I mean, no prejudice and all, but it is a cockroach. Hmm. I'm sure that Nikaido, if she wanted to, could probably summon a door to the Sorcerer's World. Even though she keeps on saying that she's not going to use magic anymore. Gyozas. Alright. A pasta stand. Alright. Oh wait, is he actually already in there? Yeah, I think he's already in there. Wait, is he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. 'Another something night. Okay, it's a party this time. Hmm? Eesh. Why did you decide to help these guys? Was this part of Kaiman's plan? Wait, that's a she? Alright. You're certainly quite easygoing. Tanba. Seriously? That's how we're gonna go with the development? Alright. Risu. Hey, he's back. Ton 相川。Just like that. So just why is this character important? I don't understand. Like, why was he simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Oh, and here's the high-rise district. A day in the life of the mafia boss. I'm more interested in why Fujiwara's here. Alright, how much you guys want to bet that's Nikaido's ability? Time control. I mean, I've always had my suspicion on that. Oh. Aha. Nikaido. What did I say? Smoke inspection. Once again, he's pretty lucky to be here. Like, dude, you're pretty lucky to be here already. That's it. Hmm. Probably Nikaido and Kaiman are gonna crash the party. And I'm guessing Ebisu probably has stuffed a lot of stuff here. An angel? They certainly trust him very much. No, I would have thought he would have just beat up some sorcerers that were invited and get their tickets. I guess this works as well. Yeah, that was way too easy. And then kick her out. I know, he actually got one. Ooh, actually. Hmm. So now we got another side story coming out. Alright. How do you actually? 3 days. Hmm. Just like that. あ、there's the security camera. I wonder if that's. I wonder how they figured it out in the manga. Because in the manga, they didn't have a security camera. Huh. I would have thought Nikaido would instantly go back. Ooh. A new ending song. Alright. Is this also made by No Name? Well, at least it's not one of those maze screensavers again. Yeah, I'll bet the song's made by No Name. See? Strange meat pie? Okay. Alright, put your hands up. I'm guessing this is probably like a, a Blue Moon or, what was it, Blue Festival exclusive, something like that. Mm, mm. Blue Knight. Oh, alright, I'm off to see the manga. See you guys in a second. Alrighty, so seemingly to make up for last episode, we got a ton of new information in this one. And in fact, they crammed quite a lot of chapters into this episode overall. Kaiman actually heading out towards the leaving Hole and heading towards the Sorcerer's World was actually sort of the turning point. I believe it was the end of Volume 4 of the manga, so it marked actually a big turning point within the story. Now these next few chapters, or indeed maybe even next few volumes, are going to take place in the Sorcerer's World. I highly doubt that they are going to return back to Hole anytime soon, right? Although here, the transition is maybe not as profound since it's put within the same episode. But anyways, there were a few more things within the manga chapters that weren't mentioned here within the anime episode. So, as usual, spoiler finger. If you don't want to listen to the spoilers, wait until my finger is... I put down my finger, right? So, first of all, talk a little bit about Ebisu, right? So, we know here that she has her smoke, basically her magic, basically causes people to transform into reptiles, right? However, Ebisu's smoke is a little bit different in that she can actually transform them into not just normal reptiles, but reptiles which are a bit more enhanced, right? I believe the official name that was given in the manga was, well, I guess not official name, but when her smoke was appraised, it was like super badass reptile transformation smoke or something like that, right? And the reason for this actually is quite interesting as well. It's actually because Ebisu, since she was young, has been a consistent black powder user, right? The same black powder that I guess is kind of like drugs within this Dorohedoro world, and doesn't really like that. He forbids his family from using it, sort of like how the mafia always says they don't like drugs, and they even though they might do business with it, they would never allow one of their own members to use drugs. But Ebisu has, right, since she was a young child. We don't really know her backstory yet. Don't forget that she wasn't really one of, part of the family of In. And, even now, it's a little bit ambiguous as to whether or not she's officially joined a family. Even though there were some other stuff in the manga related to it, it's still not quite clear whether or not that is the case, right? However, at least right now, since she got her memories a little bit jumbled and whatnot, it seems that she's not using a black powder anymore. And, I mean, obviously she can't since she's under N right now, right? But I just thought that was something interesting. That, so they specifically mentioned that using smokes since you're a young age, not only increases your smoke production, but actually fundamentally changes your magic, enhances it as well. So, that's one thing. Another thing that wasn't quite mentioned in the anime is Kaiman and his thoughts on sorcerers, right? So before he left, the first half of this episode, one of the reasons for leaving Hull and not taking Nikaido with him was the fact that he actually did, I think he's pretty much more on the side of believing that Nikaido is a magic user now. In his mind, not only does he not want to endanger Nikaido, I think his thought process is also Nikaido probably has a good reason for coming to Hull instead of staying in the sorcerer's world, and so he doesn't really want to subject her to bring her back to the sorcerer's world as well. And his final thoughts on this thing was that, he doesn't really care if Nikaido is a magic user because, I quote, she is my one and only friend, right? So that's how Kaiman thinks about this entire situation. And that's kind of important in another way, besides the obvious, well, their relationship isn't really going to be affected. I think it's also kind of changing his attitudes towards the sorcerers as well. And we can immediately see that in this episode, right? He actually saved a magic user instead of just instantly killed him, right? And he actually acknowledged that in the manga as well, even though he didn't really say anything in the anime. So he was sort of berating himself like, what am I doing? Why am I actually saving a sorcerer now? Why am I saving a magic user? But I do have a sneaking suspicion that that might be because, his best friend is, if he believes that she is a magic user, maybe, he should lay off with the just kill on sight type of thing, right? Though, of course, it could also be because he's actually in the sorcerer's world right now and not back in Hull. But then again, when has that stopped him last time, right? So that is that. I thought these were pretty interesting things in the manga that was left out of the anime. So there we go. That should be all the spoilers for now. Talk a little bit about Nikaido. So called it. She's using time magic, right? I think it's pretty much 99% clear here that she is the one that they are talking about, the one who went into the smoke store, and they detect traces of magic that has temporal properties, right? I had a sneaking suspicion that was the case ever since, they make this big deal about having these very rare smoke types, like those of healing, those of revival, and then those that control time, right? And like I said before, time is the only one, time magic is the only one that hasn't arrived, we haven't seen yet, and considering all this mystery behind Nikaido and whatnot, and the fact that she is using a very high quality and very rare type of magic, it pretty much confirms even just then that it was time magic, and here we do get double confirmation again. So yeah, I am really excited to see when she is going to come on the scene and actually use her magic. By the way, so I made this point before that in the manga they didn't really show that the smoke store had security cameras, even though they did show it in the anime. Well, now in the manga they also eventually discover, or they do eventually show that there were security cameras in the smoke store. So in the end, it all converged into the same sort of plot point there. So they managed to get a glimpse of who exactly this magic user was through the security cameras, and that's probably going to be important later on once they show the security footage to En and Shin and Noi, and then they see, hey, that's the girl that we fought before, right? So there is that. Beyond that, the Risu story, right? Like, that's, I don't really know what to think right now about his entire story. I originally thought that he was some kind of big shot, or he had some deep backstory, something that justified actually having, some big plot or whatnot in order to get rid of him. But now, the more that he is on screen and the more that we understand of him, it seems that he really was just a small nobody within the Crosslight clan, just trying to make a living and whatnot. And he is maybe just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Even though it's not anything specific to him, he just happened to be the unlucky dude over there. Unless, of course, he's still missing some of his mysteries as well, which could be possible, right? Because obviously that would seem to make a little bit more sense and a little bit more fun than him just happening to be there by coincidence. But hey, we shall see in the future. Beyond that, we also have the Blue Knight. So the best I can think of it, they didn't really go through a lot of this in the anime, or maybe they did, but it was a little bit rushed. But basically, every 4 years, the Blue Knight occurs, right? And it seems that the sort of partner system that the sorcerers use is actually much more important than I initially gave it credit for. So they seem to be making a big deal about who is actually your partner, and the partner term is actually for 4 years. So they did explain in the anime how to actually make someone your partner, but apparently it lasts for 4 years until the next Blue Knight, and at that time you can renew the contract or choose a new partner, right? And that's why Noi and Shin, they're kind of in a pickle right now, because even though they were partners before, now that Blue Knight has come, they aren't quite sure if they're going to be able to keep each other as partners. It seems that some other people are wanting to take them by force to become their partners, right? So we got that thing going on, and I mean, I'm sure that in the end, not only their enemies are going to come crash the party, Kaiman's probably going to crash the party as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Nikaido somehow joins in, and that's what happens in the next few episodes, right? And this might last a few episodes, judging by the way things are going. And yeah, that's basically all the points I have for this episode. Overall, I like it. It was fact with information, but it was fun at the same time, right? I really do enjoy looking at, watching specifically En and his, I guess, family, if you will, Shin and Noi and whatnot, even though they are sort of like antagonists to our main characters, Kaiman and Nikaido. I feel like they are actually quite... No, I wouldn't be surprised if in the end they actually make up and turn out to be on the same side, right? Maybe not quite friends, but not exactly and 100% antagonists to each other, right? It doesn't seem to be that kind of thing. They probably will reconcile and have a common goal in the end, and might even work together for some while, right? The manga actually goes through a lot of different things. En is definitely quite different from when both myself, and I'm sure a lot of you guys as well, when he first appeared both in the anime and in the manga. He seemed to be one of those, archetypical bad guys, and yet, the more that we see of him, the more we see, hey, he's actually, he is a mafia boss, right? But he actually does go through he takes the concept of taking care of his family actually very seriously, right? Especially particularly we can see that from his treatment of Fujita. So even though Fujita is really just a nobody, he's still part of the family, right? He's part of the family, and is doing a lot to accommodate him, including, you know, he's not just dismissing his problems because he's an underling and you should go fend for yourself. Why are you so useless, right? He's actually helping him do a lot of the different stuff, and in fact, one could even argue that right now he's giving him very, very good treatment, way better treatment than he probably deserves from his actual ability level, right? He seems to be consistently within the inner circle of In. You know, on one hand, it might be because he needs him to help sort of keep a leash on Ebisu, but at the same time, it's not like just being around, and he's getting a lot of perks, right? You know, he's getting taken care of, he's eating well, he's dressing well, and he's even on stage with N during this, you know, when all the others around him are the elites. Hey, Fujita is there as well, right? So, you know, you really get the sense that N is really treating these people as his family. And the manga actually uses a lot of these sort of extras, these sort of omake or I guess bonus chapters, if you will, in order to do some bonus stories. They're really just fluff, and you can even say they're sort of like slice of life kind of things, but it really goes deeper to show, you know, the sort of interactions and the bond between N's family members, right? This gang that they have here. So that's quite nice. We don't really get that much of that in the anime. Here we can see some of what they normally do, you know, how they really are just like one big family and doing different activities together, right? So I like that, and they should show a lot more of it. It's, you know, this is such a interesting work to me, right? It's dark, it's gory, but at the same time, it has a lot of fluff that makes you feel good, right? And, you know, it's just this weird contrast with everything that makes it such an interesting story for me, and I love it. And the mysteries there, you know, they keep going on and on and on, and it's not like, it's not bullshit to, you know, it's not bullshit where I think, hey, why don't they just do this, that, and then it solves the whole problem. It's actually properly thought out and properly, it's proper storytelling, let's see. So, you know, I really have little complaints about the series as a whole so far. So, there we go. That's it for episode 8 of Dorohedoro, and I will see you guys next week as well. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.